Time to check in with Carmi Levy. We're going to talk tech as we do every week at about this time. So, Carmi, I want to start with the story because I just love this idea. I try to picture this in my head. So the headline is Robotic Kitchen with AI cooks and serves 120 meals an hour without any human help. Now, I know somebody listening to this headline is thinking, is this where we're heading? I mean, eventually, is this how restaurants are going to work? So what's the story? What's the context here?
So it is a supermarket chain in Germany. They're based in Dusseldorf. It's known as Rewe, R-E-W-E, and they work with a robotics company called Circus SE. And the model, it kind of looks like a giant, very wide stove with a big window in the middle, and it's called the CA1 Series 4. And basically what it is, it's an AI-powered autonomous cooking robot. So the entire process of preparing a meal, it pulls the ingredients together, it cooks them, it mixes them, it plates them, it seasons them, and then when it's done, it cleans the thing entirely on its own. And before we assume that this is coming to our homes, because, I mean, that would really get my attention, right now it's only being piloted in 3 of their supermarkets. This is the biggest supermarket chain in Germany, but they're trying it in 3 locations. And the goal is to kind of learn from the experience and sort of see how customers respond to it. You know, most supermarkets have like an area where you can go get prepared meals,
right,
but they have staff preparing those meals. In this case, if you are a chef in one of those places, you're probably looking at this technology not very happy about it. So we can't buy it yet. We can buy the meals if we go to Germany, but it'll be interesting to see sort of what that experience looks like. Will it be reliable? Will the food taste good? Will they be able to do it cost effectively, maybe make some money at it as well? Or will the technology just be too expensive to really make a go of it? We don't know yet, but that's what pilot programs are all about.
By the way, as I try to visualize what this might be, so these robots, are there more than one? Are they working in conjunction with each other? Do we know?
No, it's an all-in-one device, and so think of this giant. It looks like a really big, very wide, very tall stove. It's about as tall as a human being, and it's about as wide as, say, 3 appliances. So it kind of sits behind the counter, and you walk, or it sits next to a counter. You walk up to it as a customer. You tell it what you want, either through voice control or there's a touch screen as well if you want to use it. And then it goes off and it makes it for you. It takes, as you said, it's about 120 of those meals per hour, so it'll take a few minutes per, and it's almost like a kind of this automated cooking device. It's got 2 robotic arms inside, so if you look through the glass, these 2 robotic arms are basically doing what a chef would do, mixing and cooking and seasoning and testing and all that good stuff. And, you know, the idea is that it delivers really good food, but it doesn't need to take a break, doesn't get tired, doesn't have an attitude, doesn't throw things in there it probably shouldn't. Hey, if that means cost-effective food at a grocery, I'm game for it. They're also considering other places where it would be beneficial, places like hospitals, universities, factories, even the military. They partnered with Ukraine. There's a defense technology program there. They want to be able to feed soldiers in the field using this technology. So it has all sorts of applications. And hopefully one day, as this advances, they get to version 2, version 3, version 4, maybe it'll get smaller and cheaper enough so that we can bring one of these home. That would be kind of cool because I really like to eat, but I'm really not the world's best cook. So, you know, maybe in our future.
I think you got a lot of people when you said not only does it prepare the meals, but when it's done, it does all the cleanup too.
I love that.
Oh,
and of course, yeah, exactly. You had me a dishwasher.
Yeah,
no
really.
question there.
Okay. Can you see this thing? Like, where would you, if you want to go see this online just to see what it looks like, where would you go?
So the place where I found it, it's a website called Interesting Engineering. I can certainly share that with our producer, and we can throw that up on our socials. It's a cool thing to watch, and the demo video is pretty impressive. But I've learned from the tech industry, demo videos are very different from the real world. In an actual grocery store staffed by actual people, will it be as reliable? Because at some point someone's got to load the ingredients in there to begin with so that it can do its thing. How does it operate in the real world? That's going to be the big test. We don't have videos for that yet.
That's a shame. All right, let's move on from that. I mentioned the story this morning because stock markets today, for people who haven't been paying attention, have been literally all over the place. NVIDIA reported earnings yesterday that blew through expectations, including, I think, a $3 billion beat. But then the markets opened today up almost 700 on the Dow. They're now down over 200. So we had about 1,000-point turnaround despite NVIDIA I thought reassuring people that this AI bubble, it's real. There's money out there. They're making it, but apparently the market didn't care today.
Yeah, there's a lot of volatility there. Nvidia was up and then it was down because I think people are still concerned. The worry in the lead up to their earnings call yesterday was that Nvidia wouldn't beat its results. And so and Nvidia is kind of like the bellwether stock for the entire AI industry, the entire tech industry. If Nvidia is doing well because everybody is buying their chips to power data centers that run AI programs. AI needs a lot of computing power. So NVIDIA is the first $5 trillion valuation company in history. It's the most valuable company in the world right now. It really is the sort of the Pied Piper of AI. And if its results were not good, people were going to freak out. So they did really well. The stocks spiked overnight. And then they kind of settled back. And I think what we're seeing here, and is similar to what we've been seeing for a while, people are still not convinced that there isn't going to be some kind of AI reckoning, that the bubble isn't about to burst soon. So the NVIDIA results showed, okay, maybe it's not going to happen now, but it might happen next quarter. It might happen a few months down the line. And I think a lot of investors are starting to say, you know what, time for me to start hedging my bets. That's why we're seeing things heading down. It isn't just NVIDIA. It's every other tech company that is following their lead.
That stock, by the way, is down another 3% today. So, Carmi, let me go to speaking of internet. Jeff Bezos is in the news. What's he doing? What is this thing called Project Prometheus?
So he's putting $6.2 billion, largely his own money, into this company, and he's going to be the CEO of it. First time he's been a CEO since he left Amazon. Of course, he is deeply involved in Blue Origin, the rocket company, but he's not their CEO. And what Project Prometheus is, it's an AI company, but it's different than OpenAI. It's different than Anthropic. It isn't making chatbots. It isn't building software. It's AI for the real world. And so they're going to work on technology that builds AI solutions for actual physical projects. So think like a medical research lab. They will build technology that essentially builds an entire lab, runs the lab, and it can do medical research at a scale that we can't do now without AI. There will be other applications like, for example, a factory for cars, using AI to optimize how fast it builds vehicles, the level of quality, to learn from the experience and keep sort of raising the bar in terms of cost and quality. And so that's sort of the thing, is that we haven't really applied AI to real-world problems so far. It's all been prompts and bots and image and video generators. And Project Prometheus is going to take that out of the virtual world and drop it right into the real world. And there are some other companies that are competing against them as well. But at the same time, they don't have the amount of money, that far less money than Jeff Bezos has put into this one. And of course, they don't have Jeff Bezos. He's got quite the track record in terms of delivering what he promises to deliver. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but this is a guy with quite some history, and I think he's definitely one to watch.
By the way, with respect to Amazon, my producer, Brian, was telling me, he gave me an article today that Amazon, and I think they'd announced this a while ago, and we didn't hear really much, but they're announcing now, you will soon be able to buy a used car from Ford on Amazon directly without going through a dealer.
Yeah, and this is, and you realize dealers are not owned by the car companies. They're independent businesses, and they're in fact the biggest customers of the car companies. Tesla very famously blew that model up. When you go to a Tesla dealership, that's actually Tesla owned, but that's the exception. And so for Ford to be striking this deal with Amazon, originally it was just for used cars, but it looks like it's going to include new cars as well. That is a massive change to the way the industry works, and it really does show that Amazon has finally muscled the car industry into doing something it spent decades fighting against. Will this lead to better prices and better service? Hard to tell, but it's interesting to see the model being broken, and at least consumers now have another choice.
Amazing, huh? And eventually, I guess they say now, from the story that I read, you'd still have to go pick it up at your dealer, but it's only obviously a matter of time before you can just have it, I guess, delivered right to your door, like everything else with Amazon. So it's going to be
that's what technology does. It disrupts, and Amazon originally sold books, but
there you go.
It was destined that eventually they would grow way beyond that. Here's where we are.
I'm waiting. The next one I think that Amazon begins to move into, and I don't know if they've done it already, and that's travel.
What?
The idea that you can just go and they will book, lowest price, lowest this, airfare, the whole deal. That's one place they've not gone, but I imagine that's an area they're probably looking at. So we shall see.
And I will predict now they will be using AI heavily to make that happen. Things like AI agents to book your trip for you. You tell it what you want, and it goes off and it does that. Amazon has the scale and the technology and the experience to make that happen.
Carmi Levy, taking a look at tech. Carmi, thanks so much.
Unmistakably Canadian.
It's the music that raised you.
The artists raising the bar.
Hi, this is Brian Adams.
Hey, my name's Brett Emmons. I'm from the Glorious Sons.
Hi, I'm Nelly Furtado.
Made in Canada. The station that champions Canadian music.
Loud, proud, and all yours.
No passports required. Just press play.
Tap into Made in Canada now on iHeartRadio.ca
Or the free iHeartRadio app.